After a tricky start to the restart, it's now 2 successive away wins. How is the mood and the confidence level in the group right now?
After winning, always much more positive and happy, obviously. We had a really difficult start in terms of the fixtures, playing 4 games away from home. It was always going to be a challenge. Happy to win the last ones, and obviously the mood about the camp is much better.
You're well into the restart now. So how are the players dealing with the physical challenges of playing every three days after what was quite a lengthy break?
Yeah, the calendar that we have been given from the Premier League, it's pretty hectic. We're playing every 3 days. We're having less recovery than other teams, but the players are trying their best. We're trying to give them everything we can in terms of recovery, to have them in the best possible conditions for every game, and they are trying their best. So hopefully they will be fine tomorrow again.
And it's finally a home game after nearly 4 months away from the Emirates. I know it will be a very different experience without any fans there, but what effect, if any, will there be at being back at home at the Emirates?
Well, we really want to play at home. That's where we enjoy more. But obviously not having the fans with him is a tremendous disadvantage. We want to give them happy moments and enjoyment. And at the moment, we cannot do that just by seeing them. They'll be watching on TV. But it's what we have at the moment.
Mikel, you are 9 points away from 5th place. If you want to qualify for the Champions League, is this game a must-win game?
I think every game is going to be a must-win game for now, because we have a few teams ahead of us, so the margin for error is minimal, and as well at home we have to be very strong if we want any chance of finishing in European places.
And when it comes to David Luiz, his injury, how bad is it, and do you expect him to be back soon?
We don't know. He was in pain the other day, obviously, when he had to leave the pitch. He's not a player that normally does that, so he was uncomfortable. We assessed him yesterday. He was a bit better, but we don't know. He had a scan to do this morning as well to see how bad it is, and he's very willing. He wants to play. He's always like that, but we'll have to see how he is.
And when it comes to Tierney, do you think he's been one of the big positives for you so far since the restart? And I wonder what you made of all the fuss about him carrying a Tesco's bag into the game the other day.
It's been one of the positive things since I joined, just to get to knowing a little bit his character and the way he trains, the way he pushes himself is exactly what we need. He's the kind of player that I love. I'm really, really happy with him. He had some really tough moments since he joined the club, but now it's much happier. He's settled. But about the Tesco bags, this is Kieran. He's a very humble, normal guy, and he does what he feels is right.
And when it comes to Mesut Ozil and Guendouzi, obviously a lot's been said and written about them. As far as you're concerned, do you think they still have a part to play in the games coming up towards the end of the season?
I said that everybody that I have in the squad, my job is to get the maximum out of them, to try to help them and support them. And if they are willing, everybody is welcome.
And are they both willing, do you think?
Sorry?
Do you think they are both willing?
I always hope that the players want to give their best.
And the final one from me, just on William Saliba. His loan runs out today. Do you want him to come back straight away? Or I know that Saint-Etienne are in the French Cup final, which is in about three weeks' time. Would you allow him to play in that, or would you prefer him to return?
No, I think he needs to stay there. We got an agreement with Saint-Etienne. He's been all year over there. He's earned his right to play that final if the manager wants to do that. So I think we have to give him the opportunity to do that, to enjoy that, and we can have him after that.
Hi, you were talking before about your margin for error not really or you're not really having a margin for error when it comes to the league table at the moment. Norwich are in exactly the same position. What do you expect from them?
Well, that's a team that is fighting for relegation all the time, has an extra edge. They know the difference between playing the Championship and the Premier League, and they fought really hard to be where they are. And I'm expecting a fully committed team. They are really brave the way they play. They are a team that if you let them play, they cause you problems. And I'm expecting, again, a very honest team that is going to fight for their lives to try to give them a better chance in the next few weeks to stay in the league.
I know you will have assessed their performance against Manchester United in the FA Cup. Does that give your team a warning that they're not going to be any pushovers in this game?
No, I will show them what they are able to do when you give them time to play, and it's a very tricky team the way they play, and we make sure that we recover first and we are ready tomorrow to go again.
It's already been mentioned as well, Mikel, about how long it's been since your team played at the Emirates Stadium. Have you been taking any special preparation for this match to prepare your players for being back on home turf?
Well, we had 2 friendlies before we started the Premier League at home, and it was really a strange feeling, but hopefully they are used to it now, and we know what we expect. We've done all the protocols that we could to make sure that the players know exactly what they have to do, and hopefully they can enjoy tomorrow playing again in our stadium.
Hello, Mikel. Thanks, Mark. Mikel, you need a bit of luck at the moment with all these injuries you're getting and the issues that are going on. How have you found the past few weeks since Project Restart?
We just try to make the most out of it. You know, it's been a great learning process as well for myself, the staff, about the situation and the context that we are on. You know, a lot of unexpected things have happened since I joined. We try to resolve the situation in the best possible way to help the players and the club to keep going in the right direction. And that's it. Some things we cannot control, and the ones we can control, just try to make as many good decisions as possible.
On Sunday, Pep Guardiola spoke to the BBC and he said Arsenal are growing day by day with your management and you're making the right decisions for the team and the club. And I just wondered if you'd spoke to him lately and what you made of drawing Man City in the cup. That's probably the team that you didn't want to face.
Yeah, we have spoken a few times in recent weeks, and about facing them again in the semi-final again is a tricky one. But look at the level of the teams that we are involved in the competition. So yeah, you want to win a title, you have to face the best teams, and if we want to do that, we're gonna have to beat City.
That's what you spoke about when you've been talking. Have you been leaning on him for a bit of advice, or are you making your own decisions yourself still?
Yeah, it's a person that I has huge respect and admiration, and we talk about a lot of things. And yeah, when I need advice or I want to listen to him or support me, he's always there. He's always willing to help me, and for me, it's great to have someone like him around me.
And just the last one from me. Any news on Pierre's contract? Any update at all? Or are we still waiting?
I don't have any updates, sorry.
Realistically, what are your ambitions now? Are they still Champions League, or is it a European spot, maybe via winning the FA Cup?
Honestly, just win tomorrow. Prepare the team as much as well as I can. Go again, play better, improve our performances, and win football matches. And move from there. Convince them, get some momentum, and see what happens in the next 3 or 4 games of the season, where we are and what we can achieve. But this is my mindset at the moment.
In terms of Matteo Guendouzi, he's a young player at a very big, powerful football club like Arsenal. He seems to always, or certainly recently, been in the headlines, and maybe he wants to leave. Do you think he's making the most of, or has made the most of, the opportunity at the start of his career that Arsenal's given him?
I don't know. When Arsenal pick him to come here, is because they could obviously see the potential and the qualities that Matteo has. He's a really young player. He's still development. And when you are developing, you know, the curve normally is not so much straightforward. You have to hit some bumps. You have to adapt to it and learn in the process about the things that you've done right and the things that you've done wrong, like any other player.
Mesut Ozil's wages have always been a stick that have been used to beat him when either he doesn't play well or he doesn't play. I know he's got a slight back problem. Do you think that, again, regarding himself, he could have maybe helped himself a little bit more by, I don't know, playing better or in terms of it during his last couple of years of his Arsenal career? Because it doesn't seem that he's really kicked on either.
But I always believe that the players want to play as well as possible, train as well as possible, and then it's a tricky game. You have momentum, you have your teammates to help you as well. You need confidence, so it's not just one factor. But I never doubt that the players want to do their best.
And one last one from me. You talk about confidence. Great confidence from your young players, but it does look like Alexandre Lacazette maybe needs a goal or two and a really good performance or two for his confidence.
He's like any player, or the strikers even more regarding the goals that he scored. But the other day, again, he contributed. He won the penalty for us. He worked in very, very hard. His link-up play was really good, and I was really happy with his performance.
Hi, Mikel. There's been some team news come out of the club this morning, and I see Lucas Torreira's in training. How close is he to being available for selection again?
I think he's close. He needs to get another scan to make sure that the bone is completely healed before we expose him to the next level. But he's been training really well. He's been doing some parts with us. And, Lucas is so willing, putting all the effort and more in every training session. So hopefully we can use him very soon.
And you've got Cedric available in the squad for this match. He's just signed a new contract. What qualities will he add to the team and the squad?
Well, it's a different quality on the fullback area than what we have. He's a gifted technical player. He's probably the best we have in the final third to make the right decision and attack the box as well. He can play in a 4, he can play in a 5. He's a really good player with experience in the Premier League that can help us.
And just on some of your younger players, you put a lot of faith in some of the players coming through the Arsenal system. With the sort of talk of Bukayo Saka's contract, I don't know if there's any news there, and news that you might be losing following Balogun, who's one of the most exciting young strikers in Europe. Are you worried that you can not hold on to these young players?
I'm not worried because I know that the club is doing their best to try to keep him. Hopefully we can have some good news very soon about them. And they know my opinion on them, how much I like working with them, and the intention that we have in the future with them. And I see them really committed, and hopefully we can find the right agreement for both parties and move on, because I think it's a great future ahead of us with these kids.
So you're talking in general, we're talking about Saka and Balogun specifically there?
I talk in general.
Hi, Mikel. Just another question on William Saliba. Obviously, a lot of excitement about him coming into next season. Have you spoken to him and started forming your plans for him next season?
Yeah, I spoke with him a few times. He's been around a few times here as well. We've been following this season. Again, as a young player, he had a really difficult season with the injuries that he's had. But again, it's part of his process. I know how high the expectations are on him for next year, but we have to bear in mind the age that he's at and what he's done in the past, and make sure that we create the right environment for him so he can keep growing as a player.
Can I ask you about your midfield? In the Premier League, you've got 2 goals from central midfielders, 5 assists. Is that a number that needs to increase significantly in the run-in if you're to climb up the table? Absolutely. And if we talk with 2 attacking midfielders, even more. Yeah, they have to be a threat, constantly threatening the box in the final third, assisting, getting chances to score and provide. It's one of the big jobs that they have. Do you feel like you found a balance there with the 3 at the back and the 2 midfielders able to get forward a bit more? We found a balance in relation to how the opponent plays, how we believe that we can hard them, make it difficult, how we can find the right balance as well for us to attack better and control transitions better as well. And then depends on the players we have available. At the end of the day, we have to put the players in the right position where they are better, when they feel more confident. And sometimes we'll be with 5, sometimes with 4, it will be in diamond, and it will depend. Finally, from me, Danny Ceballos sort of indicated he might like to stay in the Premier League next season. Would you be keen to have him back if he was keen to join?
I am really happy the way Danny's progressing. I know how tough it is to come from Spain and join this league. As well, he had a really tricky injury while I was joining the club, but I used him in different position. And again, Danny, his attitude is top. He loves football. He breathes for football, and you can see that in every reaction in the football pitch. Every time we score a goal, you look at him, it's like he's been here for 6 years, the way he feels about winning a football game, and I love that about him.